Welcome back to another episode of Into the Airbnb, where we talk with Airbnb hosts about their short-term rental experience. Today's guest is Eugene Muller, based on Clanwilliam, South Africa, who owns and manages over 10 listings in 2 different towns. Today, Eugene will share with us about her Airbnb host experience and also give some useful tips for those who might be interested in hosting in South Africa. This episode is sponsored by Airbnb, the only one analytics dashboard for short-term rental investors and managers, where you can find precise Airbnb data such as occupancy rate, revenue, average daily rate, and so on. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So, can you tell us how did you get started on Airbnb?
I was first into permanent rentals, but in South Africa, the law doesn't protect the landlord. It protects the tenant. So then the tenants start to be a problem because they don't pay, and the law doesn't worry about that. But now I believe in property. I love property. So now I had to make something else with the property. So then I see these guest houses in Clanwilliam. Clanwilliam is quite a tourist town in South Africa. It's one of the 10 most best rock climbing places in the world. So I see the guest houses are full, and I thought maybe I'd just start with one. And 1 became 2, and 2 became 3, and that is how I started. It was because the main reason was because the landlords in South Africa aren't protected anymore.
I see. And in the areas you're hosting, how is the seasonality like? Is it like occupied all of the year or?
Okay, so normally before COVID, everything is before COVID. May month, for some reason, in our town in Clanwilliam is not the best, and most of the guest houses close, or some of the guest houses close and go overseas or a holiday and stuff. But then the small guest houses that's open still have a bit of business. So May is our bad financial month, but 11 months of the year we are quite full. So Clanwilliam are a very populated or a very popular place in the world and in South Africa.
I see, that's great. So around the high season versus the low season, how is your occupancy rate like?
Okay, low season about 40-50%, and high season 100%.
That's great. And what months are those? What season of the year?
The high season.
Right.
Okay, so high season is from 1 June till end of December. But our highest season is from 1 June till end of September. The 100% sort of thing.
During all the year, how is your pricing strategy?
Okay, so what we do is I've got 2 different towns. So the Clanwilliam one was quite easy. I know the properties, I know the people. So when I started seeing the places and I know exactly where it was, I just compare my property to the rest and plus minus that price range. But then I bought a new place in Lammas Bay, and there it's totally different than mine. Firstly, my spot is 10 times better. The price range here is extremely low. So I just thought, I'm not gonna let me lead by them. I'm better. So I just put my own price. So I'm the market leader in Lammas Bay with a price.
I see. And you price all by your own? You don't use any pricing solution?
No.
Okay, that's great. So Through all your years being an Airbnb host, what has been your top challenges?
Um, Cleaning stuff. It is really difficult to get good cleaners. Really difficult. Um, these years, I started to after year or two, I got my stuff sorted out in Clanwilliam and everything is working perfectly. Then I bought a new place in Lambert's Bay. Like in 1 month in December, I had 16 different people working for me, and I actually only need two. So it was just about, but they just say they work for the day, and then they just tell me they don't work that hard.
Is it the cleaning staff problem like a common thing in South Africa? Have you heard about other hosts also struggling with it?
No, like in Clanwilliam, really we don't have a problem at all. The problem is in this town, Lambert's Bay. I didn't really know the town and its people. So it's a smaller fishing community, a poorer community, but the people is sort of moaning that they don't have a job, and pleading for a job, and when they have a job, they say no, no thanks. You understand? So not in South Africa the problem, but definitely a huge problem in Lambert's Bay. So I'm still struggling. Months after, I still struggle to get stuff that stick. They just tell me it's too hard work. They don't work that hard. And unfortunately, the guest house business, the accommodation business is hard work because every place must be extremely clean. And for the COVID regulations, I'm a gym freak, so I don't want to go in a place that's dirty. So cleaning is very important, and they just tell me they don't work that hard. And then I must tell you, so many places, guests book into places, then they check out. Especially when I was new in town, because I'm only 3-4 months in town. They check out and then they book with me. So that's one of the reasons I'm always fully booked, because they check out other places because it's too dirty, and then they come to me.
I see. That's great. At least you have more public like that.
Yes.
So your guests, are they usually locals or are there tourists?
So Clanwilliam normally is 90% overseas guests. So mostly the overseas guests, okay? So tourists. But I've just started in Lambert's Bay, and here is 98% local people. So currently in Clanwilliam is also like 90%, 95% local. But I'm talking about normally. We work with overseas guests. 90% of our guests in Clanwilliam is overseas guests.
Wow, I see. That's interesting.
Especially the Germans. The Germans love Clanwilliam. We are quite a hot town, and they just love the sunshine, and they love everything about us. And like I said, the rock climbers, they come year after year after the same people. So if the same people comes back, it says something, you understand?
Yes, I see. Would you recommend to other hosts to start their Airbnb rental business in South Africa?
For sure I would. But currently, with everything that's going on, it is difficult, or it's more difficult. I've got quite a lot of places, like I told you, in January and Feb, I had like 5 nights booked in all my places. Now, if you need the money and you don't have reserve, then you've got a huge problem, you understand? It was January, it was my worst month ever. Even in COVID, we didn't have it like that. But so you need to kind of work with money. Airbnb is a wonderful thing to make money, to pay property, to everything, but you can't make the money and use the money. You have to. I was always in business from 17 years old, so I understand how it works. Like you have to put money back for the 7 fat years and 7 thin years for that 7 thin years, and we were now in 7 thin years, and it was difficult. But yeah, hopefully the fat years will come again quickly.
I see. So any tips you would like to share with Airbnb hosts, especially the one who hosts on South Africa?
In South Africa, the main tip I would say is if you buy a property, you can make good money. But just remember, don't use the money. Use that money to pay your Airbnb. When it's almost paid, take that, you pay in front your Airbnb, to the bank. Then you take that money again and buy a second one. Then pay back that bond. You understand? So try not to use the money. Try to make it an extra income, save to pay your properties. So eventually, then the second one is paid, then you buy a third one, and the third one, then it's three Airbnbs paying off one. You understand how quickly you're going to have more and more Airbnbs.
How about restrictions there in South Africa or in the cities you host in?
Okay, so we don't have restrictions. So luckily, all my properties I have is business properties. So it's already zoned to that. But if in South Africa, if you have two or more places on one plot, you have to rezone it. But if you only have one place and you hire it, no problem, nobody is concerning. But we also have security estates. They have their own rule. You can't just open there and stuff. But the normal residential plots outside the security estates, no problem.
Great, good to hear that. And would you recommend foreign Airbnb hosts to open an Airbnb business in South Africa? Would it be easy for them?
From overseas, or what do you mean?
Yes, overseas hosts.
Yes, you can if you have someone that can manage it for you. Because like I told you, the cleaning is a problem. and to find cleaning stuff is difficult. In other words, if you buy a property and you do Airbnb, you need to clean it. How are you going to do that? You understand? So yes, in Cape Town, the big cities, there is companies doing it. But then you give a lot of money away if you use a company to do that. Then you have to have a high-end type of property, you understand, that makes it worth your while. So yes, I would recommend it. But you must just sort out the cleaning.
Yes, that's the thing they have to solve. So that'll be it for today. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your tips. Yes.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for listening to Into the Airbnb. We're looking for hosts and other people in the short-term rental industry to interview. If you have what we need and would like to share your experience in this podcast, please send us an email. All the info is at the end of the description.